Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger.
And I'm Jeanelle Slade. Tonight, court documents reveal the minutes and evidence found leading up to the murder of 57-year-old Lori Bray.
Today, her suspected killer, 22-year-old Diego Hernandez, appeared in Yellowstone County Justice Court, charged with one count of felony deliberate homicide.
Court documents show Lori Bray's body, located just east of Laurel, was found naked, strangled, and her head beaten. The suspect's story changing with each encounter he had with law enforcement after Bray went missing last Monday, October 1st. Q2's David J. was in the courtroom this afternoon and is standing by with more details. David?
Well, Russ, Jeanelle, it appears Lori Bray was trying to do something nice, but instead she ended up dead. The defense attorney asked for a lower bond today, while the prosecution argued otherwise.
But the level of violence and brutality suffered by Ms. Bray is astonishing. This was a violent crime, and her end was violent and awful. Additional charges may be forthcoming as additional evidence comes forward.
Yellowstone County Deputy Chief Attorney Ed Zink asked for a $500,000 bond, and Judge Walker agreed. Court documents state that 22-year-old Diego Hernandez allegedly strangled the 57-year-old Lori Bray of Laurel. According to the Yellowstone County Attorney's Office, Bray gave a ride home to Hernandez early in the morning on October 1st after her shift at the Cedar Ridge Casino. The casino's surveillance video shows Bray opening the passenger door of her 2003 Chrysler for a man to get inside. Bray's car was near the Yellowstone National Cemetery, later on Buffalo Trail Road and Laurel Airport Road. Her body was found on October 2nd near Yard Office Road. Zink's affidavit states Bray's body was nude and there was blunt force trauma to her head. Bray had been reported missing after she didn't show up for work on the afternoon of October 1st. And Yellowstone County deputies arrested Hernandez on Tuesday. Besides the bond, the judge also ordered several other conditions, including GPS and alcohol monitoring for Hernandez. Jeanelle, Russ?
All right, thanks, David. Well, the next scheduled court appearance for Diego Hernandez is in district court on October 23rd.
Well, a man facing charges in the death of an infant that happened almost a year ago in Billings also appeared in court today.
29-year-old James Palmer was arrested this week in the case. He's charged with negligent homicide. Now, according to documents, Palmer told police he had determined she died of asphyxiation. Toxologists also found the baby tested positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine.
And it's not clear why it took so long to bring charges in the case. Palmer's bond was set at $200,000.
Well, turning now to weather, Ed McIntosh is here. We got a lot of snow yesterday and even colder temperatures in store for tonight.
That's
Ed.
right. We were tying record lows this morning and we got even colder readings as we get into tomorrow. But everybody's asking about just how much snow did we get around Hardin and Bighorn County, up to 8 inches. Just outside of Red Lodge and Carbon County, 16 inches. And the snow amounts were a little bit lower into the eastern plains around Musselshell County. That's Roundup, 10 inches, 13 inches around Livingston, and then a mix across the rest of the region, although it really tended to be a little bit higher into the mountain foothills. Sheridan County, Wyoming, 4 inches, about an inch right around Sheridan itself from the reports that we got there. Chuck, thanks for letting us know. Then we're looking at some really cold temperatures overnight. Will likely tie or break some record cold temperatures. A lot of readings in the single digits to low teens by first thing tomorrow, breaking records that go back as far as 1977 in Sheridan, Wyoming. We'll take a closer look at what's going to happen after the cold. The forecast details are coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, the past couple of days have been dangerous ones on Montana highways, snow and ice on the roads. Bad news for drivers and the men and women who are trying to lend a helping hand. Tonight, MTN's Cody Boyer shows us how troopers stay safe.
We got to push the limit as safely as possible.
Trooper D. Giovanna has been patrolling Gallatin County for about a year and a half. Seems like yesterday's and I-90 come with the snow and the territory.
We'll just say, hey, dispatch, where do you need us? And we're dispatched to pretty much the most serious one.
But the powder can turn a normal drive into a dangerous one quickly.
Just one person not paying attention, going over one bridge can shut down the interstate for hours.
As in this terrifying case back in 2015 near Missoula, a semi-driver lost control, smashing through another crash. Amazingly, even though the woman who was in a wrecked car was thrown into the median, everyone survived. But it is a worst-case scenario that D. Giovanna says could happen again in an instant.
Is anyone hurt out there? How quickly do we need to respond? Because it's dangerous us driving in those conditions as well.
Have you ever gotten your car with bad conditions and wondered if you're going to be able to come back? Is it ever something like that?
You can't think that way.
While yesterday is melting behind us, he says he and his fellow troopers are ready for the next wave.
Crashes, they happen where the road is the worst. So when people see those flashing lights, they need to slow down, recognize that something's going on up there, and react appropriately.
Thanks so much, Cody. Now, if you can't change lanes, do not panic, slow down and stick your course, keeping aware of your surroundings at all times.
Proposed Montana rules for disposal of radioactive oil field waste drew some heated discussion today in Helena.
The new rules would make several changes. The one drawing the most comment at today's public hearing would quadruple the amount of allowable radioactivity in waste accepted at any licensed site. Now, environmental activists say this change would make Montana a, quote, dumping ground for radioactive waste produced in North Dakota oil fields.
People from across the state, including Catherine Card of Billings, say the higher limit isn't a good idea and the state must take a more active role in monitoring the sites.
But the greatest risk associated with adopting these draft rules is a seeming lack of will or ability of the Montana DEQ to effectively regulate the waste disposal sites. That's a huge factor in the success or failure of permitting waste disposal landfills to accept T-norm waste.
There's currently only one location that accepts this kind of waste in Montana, and it's located north of Glendive.
DEQ is accepting written comment until October 21st and then has 6 months to adopt the final rules. Invasive mussels were recently found on a boat in the Mission Valley after previously traveling through 2 Montana check stations unnoticed. That boat was from Chicago, bound for Seattle. It was quarantined and decontaminated at the Ravelli Watercraft Inspection Station. An inspection found adult zebra mussels attached to the vessel, which had been out of the water for less than 2 weeks. It is illegal to transport mussels, dead or alive, into or within the state of Montana. It's the 15th mussel boat that has been intercepted in Montana in 2019. And there's more news from across our state tonight. A Helena High School choir receives a dream invite to perform at Carnegie Hall. Join me for your statewide MTN News at 9 on the CW. But first, still to come on tonight's 5:30 News, receiving a cancer diagnosis is a nightmare for everyone. But now, a Missoula hospital has a unique way for young children to cope with the emotional trauma. And later in sports, why would you trade sand for snow? Well, I know. We'll take you inside a pipeline of players heading to Dillon, Montana from an island paradise.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.